only realized I loved my face after it had been burned with acid. Before, it was just my face. I only started laughing it again when it had partially disappeared. Do you follow?
Not really.
The only country that teaches it with an American accent.
The whole movie, I kept thinking, I'm like, she is Swedish, and her accent is terrible.
And that was a clip from the movie Wrong, starring Jack Plotnick and William Fichtner. This week, we're going to be covering spring releases. This is Movies, a Podcast, and I'm Rob.
I'm Curtis.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Brenda.
I'm Dan.
And that's Dan. Always Dan. Last, but never first. Hi, guys. How's everybody today?
Good. How are you?
Oh, a little sniffly, so you might hear. I'm not crying. Just have allergies that are kicking my butt.
Spring has sprung.
Well, it's appropriate for our topic today. We're going to be talking about spring releases, but before then, let's do some catch up.
What have we been doing?
Last movie I saw was Oz the Great and Powerful.
I mean, that's picture of the year, right?
I liked it.
I don't know. I liked it. Yeah. I don't know if it was call it the best picture
he
of the year.
Facetious.
Oh, okay. You didn't like it at all?
It was fun for what it was.
It was fun, yeah. It was. I don't think it was supposed to be like a brain food.
Don't look at my snot, Jordan.
It's the Les Mis of 2013. And Mila Kunis is the Anne Hathaway of 2013.
You do want to hate her in that movie. I mean, not just because she plays who she plays.
I'm just so tired of the same tired. It's 2013, and for 60 years, Disney's been dragging out the same tired, ridiculous trope that pretty women are not valid unless pretty men like them. It's just the same weak women, strong men, crazy, vague minorities. It's the same things that we saw in 1943, and we're seeing it still. Studios.
Oh yeah, we're postmodern feminists now. Like,
well,
I'm a postmodern feminist.
We can say that women want a man. Yeah, want a man. That's pretty.
It's never a real podcast until Jordan has a complaint. So it's a seal of approval on this one.
On my rival podcast, Films the Podcast, I'm going to discuss
Películas.
It's simulcast in Espanol.
I did like it. I'm not going to hate on it. You start watching Oz and you're like, it's not like the original, and this is different. But then, I don't know, you settle into the movie, you realize, the special effects are kind of cheesy, but so was, in 1939, the special effects were probably cheesy back then, too. And I thought the actresses were well cast.
Well, I'm sure in 1939 people were freaking out thinking monkeys could really fly.
Yeah, and then that was like,
wait,
those are the biggest
monkeys can't fly?
On the Orbitz commercials, they can.
I mean, Curtis will be in the plane next week.
But I did. I liked it. I liked it. It was good.
I'm scared of the fact that something shouldn't be remade like this. Like maybe something.
But it's not a remake.
Not a remake, but it's kind of that.
It's not even a prequel.
It's technically was supposed to be.
Like a prequel of a prequel. But
I
think remake everything. I don't care.
No, I see what you're saying. So
yeah, I'm not a purist.
Nice, once in a while to see something original just on that scale.
But we do see original things on that scale.
We really don't. Like only Christopher Nolan's original movies, which is really just what, Inception?
Uh-huh.
What's the other big budget one?
The Prestige.
Memento?
Prestige.
But that's not a big budget.
Oh, okay.
But those two are the only really original big budget movies. Original. With $100 million budget.
I thought Live Free and Die Hard was pretty good but for a small art house film, it really had a lot of heart.
Bruce Willis was in that Moonrise Kingdom.
He was awesome.
I did like Moonrise Kingdom. Rob and I, this is Curtis again. Rob and I just saw Stoker today. The new, what's his name?
Park Chan-wook.
Park Chan-wook with Matthew Good, Mia Wasikowski, and Nicole Kidman. And
written by Wentworth Miller.
He said, I was just reading an interview with him, he said the script has changed so much since he gave it to them. It's not that he's saying he didn't write it, but the script has
Does he still get a writing credit?
Yeah, he still gets
it. He gets a sole.
He gets a sole writing credit and a producer's credit on the feature. Stoker is the first English language film from director Park Chan-wook,
Park Wook-chen? I don't know.
Wait,
Park Chan-wook.
Sorry. And his most famous film is Old Boy. He did the Lady Vengeance.
The Vengeance trilogy.
The Vengeance trilogy.
The first one was Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance.
And I really enjoyed Thirst, the vampire one. That was epic. And how it was just, it felt like very inappropriate almost the entire way through.
But how did you feel about Stoker?
I'm still on the fence about it. About 30 minutes into the movie, I kind of wanted to walk out because I was just so frustrated that none of the characters were likable, relatable. They all just seemed just generic. Not generic, just they didn't seem
Authentic.
None of them had any emotions. They were very.
It's the Carrie Diaries, the film version.
Well, I told Rob, and this is what I love about these movies. Maybe it's just Nicole Kidman. That movie is like walking a high wire tightrope. Like they could have gone over the top, and it would have been too much, or they could have been like real dour. But I think they walked that tightrope to where you're not quite sure what's going on, and you don't even really know what's going on really with any of the characters until like the last 20 minutes.
No,
Nothing
that's
is
true.
So it's just like very subtle the whole way out.
It is subtle, but it also opens a lot of boxes and doesn't tell you what's in them.
Subtle?
Literally and figuratively.
I wouldn't call that movie subtle at all.
No, I don't mean subtle. I mean like the plot didn't lay it out for you and go, here's how this plot's going to go.
Yeah. No, it'll be hard for you to watch that movie and understand where this plot's going. Like you can't. You can't predict it. You can't predict it.
I see. I don't mind that. Like sometimes, like when movies change it up. Granted, I haven't seen this, so I can't really form an opinion. But I think sometimes the movies can pander a little bit to audiences. So from what it sounds like, I don't think it would bother me.
No, you'd like it. Yeah, it's just strange enough to be weird, but not as. I guess
I'm excited to see more from this director, and sometimes with foreign language film directors make their crossover to the U.S., it's not always successful.
My Blueberry Nights.
That's Wong Kar-wai. The director of Amelie, City of Lost Children, did Aliens 4.
Not a total misfire.
But it was, I don't know, I would
Ang Lee, Incredible Hulk. I'm just going to throw that out there. For
That wasn't his first.
No,
No.
Sense and Sensibility was his first.
Oh, yeah, I just got beat on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. But.
Oh.
So go see it. I still think Nicole Kidman is quickly becoming the best actor for
Small parts?
a small, interesting movie.
Yeah.
Like you can never, Meryl Streep would not do that part. I mean, you know what I mean? An aging Southern belle, like, she just did it perfectly.
Do you think this is maybe Oscar buzz already for this
No,
role? Or
no. I wish for Matthew Good I like him. He's never been this good.
He's the only character in the film. Well, I guess Nicole Kidman also showed her vulnerability, but his character, whenever you realize how it all tied together, when he showed that in that scene in the car, I thought that's where it brought me back in.
Yeah.
It sold me that this character is someone that I sympathize with, even though you might not want to sympathize.
I was just going to say that. I said I think you want the sentimentality, and there was none until one scene, and that was it.
You know me, I like my
I
sentiment.
know. It was not sentimental.
Today I also watched Lynn Ramsey's We Need to Talk About Kevin with Tilda Swinton and John C. Reilly. Even though I knew the ending to that movie, I was still floored by how it laid itself out and it connected past, present, and what was going on with these characters. Yeah, I can't recommend that movie enough. I feel like I have snot coming down my nose right now.
I really like that director, Lynn Ramsey. I've seen her first two, Ratcatcher and then Morven Caller, and I think she
Ratcatcher was hers?
Yeah, that was her first film. And I think she just does such a good job about, like, with the just focusing so much on the characters. Like, that's the whole story. Just keep your eyes on these characters.
I kind of watch what they do. Morven Caller's good. Morven Caller?
Morven Caller.
But we need to talk about Kevin, I think, because Tilda Swinton's in it, and just there was something about the way it was pieced together. It's such a, I want to say labyrinth, but that sounds so douchey. But.
Well, this past week, Lynn Ramsey's been all over the news because of her film, Jane's Got a Gun.
Jane Got a Gun.
And how they went to production, their first day of shooting, and she just didn't show up. So, I'm curious to see what...
Fassbender quit, then she quit, then Jude Law quit.
I think if Fassbender quit and I was directing, I'd probably quit too.
But for real, somebody took over for him. The guy from Warrior
Yeah.
took over.
Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
No. The director of Warrior.
And Joel Edgerton.
I know, but
okay.
Joel
came in.
Edgerton came on after Fassbender left.
Yes.
But after Lynn Ramsey left... Sorry.
The director of Warrior, he came in.
Yeah. But it sounds to me like that project's going to fall apart really fast.
No.
I think, sometimes it's that project like that, I've heard stuff like that before. It's almost like dooming it from the beginning.
There seems to be a lot of work going into an Aerosmith video. Leslie Ann Warren wasn't available this time around. So.
Was she in that video?
Leslie Ann Warren?
Was Janie's gal?
Yeah, she plays Janie's mother.
No.
Yes.
She can still play Janie's mother.
She's amazing.
Anything else going on, guys? You want to chit-chat about?
Allergies.
Oh, I know.
I know it's like a consumptive ward over here.
I just keep seeing people like leaning away from the mic, going ah, like every 5 minutes.
And we're here at this little. Where are we?
Like a
We're
theater.
in a bunker. We're under the city with the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Well,
Turtles.
there's no tissues here, so I'm using my shirt. Thanks, Jordan, for not.
You can use my sleeve.
So, guys, what's your favorite movie about allergies?
Is there allergy movies?
I saw a really amazing Swedish film about lactose intolerance. It gripped me as a young child.
Who was in it?
Who wasn't in it?
Oh my
It was one of those. It was kind of like Love
Louis
Actually, but it was about lactose intolerance. It was
Well,
like
where was it from?
97 actors.
Where was it from?
Michael Caine was in it. Sweden.
Cocaine is Swedish. We just
It was called Das Milk.
Dan. Das Leche.
That's Spanish.
I'm sorry. We just showed Dan The Shining. Dan had never seen The Shining.
That's true. We did screen The Shining, and that was amazing to see it on the big screen, big-ish screen again.
It's biggest size screen I've
And
ever
new,
seen.
and I think I regained my appreciation for Shelley Duvall. I really appreciate her casting in that, and I appreciate the weirdness. But after we saw it, I actually did a lot of reading that night about the production. And we
So
know
did
that-
Curse. I went over to his house. He was watching special features on that.
No, seriously, and they were talking about, the people that they would have cast instead, and Jack Nicholson really lobbied for Jessica Lange, who was kind of a big deal at that time, and she was really who he wanted. Stephen King actually wanted Jessica Lange for that role because he envisioned Wendy as being this former high school cheerleader who had never really had to struggle or work, and this was going to be her first, and he really didn't like Shelley Duvall being cast. He didn't like Jack Nicholson being cast because he wanted it to be an everyman. He felt the family was too unhappy from the beginning. I feel that's part of the beauty of the movie is just how off-center everything about it is.
Yeah, the family from the beginning. There was already
He hates her from
There was
the
already-
second she shows up.
there was already cracks
Just a
in that
little-
family dynamic.
She makes that phone call and she's like, "Did you get the job?" And he's like, "I'll see you later." She did not want to talk to her. He had nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
So many people when we were watching it, I'm pointing at Jordan. People were hating on Shelley Duvall, and it really upset me because I'm like, you don't realize how perfect for this part she is until you get to the end, and you realize she's this weird, squeaky, mousy, annoying woman that you would hit with a baseball bat probably too. But then towards the end, you're like, oh, I feel bad for her. I want her to live. It's kind of like the final girl that you want to die and then you don't. It's an internal
But after we
struggle.
screened it, we really talked about people we would have cast, and you were thinking about the leading ladies of the time. You had, we were talking about maybe Candice Bergen, who
Or like
was
Jane Fonda,
Jane
like
Fonda,
powerful.
those people. I mean, but there was kind of at that time there was that weird brunette girl thing going. Margot Kidder was like inexplicably everywhere. But
Margot Kidder could have played the Jack Torrance part.
I think she might have. Yeah. She was going to play one
She
of the.
thought she was 10 years
She was going to play
ago.
one of the topiaries, but it got cut.
Jordan had the best casting decision for the remake. Zosia Mamet as Wendy Torrance.
As Wendy Torrance.
That's perfect.
And Lena Dunham as Danny.
As Danny.
Reprising
little
her
boy.
role since. And I thought it was
She-
interesting. Curtis posted on his Facebook page that the picture side by side of Danny Boyle and is it Danny Lloyd or
Danny, yeah.
Danny Lloyd and
Lena Dunham.
Lena Dunham, and how similar they look. And somebody was like, "That was a girl." It was like people actually bought that
Aunt
it
Crystal was like, I thought it was a boy. Well, it was Lena Dunham.
was. Once you realize that, it will take you completely out of the suspense of the film.
Well,
But,
we actually watched it in preparation because the MFA is going to be screening. What date was that again?
That
It's like the 10th through...
April.
They're showing
10th.
the documentary Room.
Oh,
237.
April 11th.
Yeah,
Room
it's-
237.
Yeah.
Room 237, and we were just excited about that, so we decided, it's been a while since we watched the film to get together and watch it, and it still scares the crap out of me every time I see that movie.
The trailer for Room 237 looked awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll admit, I do need to rewatch it. I missed out on your screening, but when I saw the Shining when I was younger, I was like, what the hell is this? And now as an adult, I think I'd be able to appreciate it better.
Yeah, we had a friend, or I Oh, I can say that. I had a friend, Justin, who watched it, and he said, I'd always watched it on TV. And he's like, I thought it was the most boring movie because they cut out this or that, or the weird part with the, what are they called, the fluffies? Or
The furries.
Furries.
With the backside hanging out. But there's no mouth on that outfit, so what is he doing?
I was reading that, and I had no idea, but if you just Google Shining blogs, people are obsessed with this movie. There's a blog that I found, a Tumblr that
one you sent to me.
It was really strange. It's like applying like the Fibonacci sequence to different scenes.
No, this person was like 13, and the number 13 is here in the movie, and then the bear's face is shaped like this, which matches that. And
there's an experiment too where they start the movie from the end and the beginning at the same time overlaid, and so much of it matches up that a lot of people believe it couldn't possibly be coincidental. Kind of that Dark Side of the Moon,
Is that
Wizard of Oz thing.
Do you think the documentary is going to cover some of this?
It covers a couple of things.
It talks about a lot of those. And I've noticed that in anticipation of that, I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but I've seen a lot coming out again about the moon landing conspiracy theories.
Oh, the documentary is making its rounds right now.
Yeah, so I've just noticed that's popping up a lot on the internet and a lot in just websites that I read, that people are starting to talk about that a little bit. Because Kubrick is rumored to have been the director who had something to do with the moon landing being faked, quote unquote.
That is so crazy to me.
A much delayed segue, because earlier Brenda said that's a trailer for the movie. The trailer was awesome for movie 2, or what is it called?
Trying to get us on track.
We're trying to get to
We're getting on track.
our topic this week, and our topic this week was covering watching trailers for spring releases. And I sent a little bit of homework out to everybody, and I think only one person did their homework, so
I did.
That hurts my feeling.
I watched them all.
This not
all the movies.
Just like in school, I did my homework an hour before we got here.
I was there telling you to do it.
I was doing it in the hallway.
We cheated off Rob.
But there's the summer season used to be the dumping grounds for a lot of studios, where they would just release these stuff that they didn't feel was worthy enough to release during the fall season or the summer season, that they just wanted to empty out their shelves. But lately, there's been a lot of quality stuff that's been coming out. So, not to say that everything on our list is fantastic, incredible Burt Wonderstone, but
isn't it true that studios maybe typically before would wait to the end of the year to release those awards?
Yeah, no.
Awards
and then January they dump movies.
To just kind of those were the ones that were freshest in voters' minds.
Yeah.
For the awards.
I mean, when you look
season.
at nominations, it's rare when a film that was released any part in the first half of the year will still be remembered come nominations. But there's a lot of good stuff on this list.
Is there?
I think so.
Well,
I think
G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Okay, I was
sure.
gonna say there's like when we kept going through those, because I did do my homework an hour before.
Teacher's pet.
But yeah, there were a lot of them. I was like, oof, I guess, like nothing that grabbed, like maybe 4 that grabbed me.
But we're expanding our minds here. We're trying new stuff.
I'll watch something new.
So what was the one that jumped out at you the most? Like the
well,
must-see that you saw?
The Evil Dead remake is a must-see. One that wasn't on the list, but we recently just discovered, called Kiss of the Damned. It's by John Cassavetes.
Interesting.
Looks like it's a Hammer. Her inspirations for this film, it's a vampire movie, but its references and inspirations are Polanski and Hammer films, horror films from the 60s, and they said there's even a little Woody Allen in there, and so it's just a mishmash of everything. And she's a Cassavetes, so I trust her.
Plus Broken English was awesome. Is she the same director?
It's her sister.
Oh, it's her sister.
Yeah, it's her sister.
Okay, never mind then.
All those Cassavetes did movies, but they only do like 1 or 2. So, but those are the ones. Those are the 2. And Spring Breakers.
Don't always trust the name. I mean, Roman Coppola. Have you seen his movies?
He wrote Moonrise Kingdom.
Exactly.
You know how I feel about that.
CQ.
Lest we forget that Nicolas Cage also.
He had his moments.
He's good sometimes. Leaving Las Vegas.
An adaptation. Oh, that's right. You don't like that one.
Well, what are you guys excited about? Because spring is such a weird movie time for me.
Well, since I actually watched all the trailers,
do you think that
Rob's
you're going to get
his own back?
Do you get a cookie at the end of this?
I did. I brought some and I ate most of them.
He's like, I get a cookie and I even brought it for myself.
Oh, jeez.
I'm really excited about that comedy, It's a Disaster.
It did look funny.
That looks fun.
I like dark humor. The next one I'm looking forward to is Kon-Tiki, which was nominated this past year for Best Foreign Film, which I don't get. There's a lot of English, in the entire film.
Oh, it did get nominated. They were like, "Oh, this ship is crazy."
What is the criteria for a foreign film?
I'm sorry.
I don't do accents.
If we can get back to
focus.
star student over here, who did all his homework at my house an hour ago.
Did not. I have been studying since the last time we met.
I'm sure you have.
What is the criteria for foreign film? It has to be made in a...
It has to be produced by a foreign country.
Yeah, but it's usually...
It doesn't even have to be in a foreign language.
But it can be because
isn't it called foreign language film?
You're right.
The award is called best foreign language.
So it has to be in a foreign language. It has to be produced by a foreign company, right?
Because some company, because like Cloud Atlas was produced by a German company. But it was produced in English.
Are you nervous that Cloud Atlas won't get any Oscar nominations?
I think that it's because it was released too early in the year, and I think
so far to the bottom.
Well, people are still also watching it. It hasn't ended yet.
Oh, I need to watch it.
Well,
it's still playing.
It's still playing.
It's 5 years.
Surprisingly, not a Terrence Malick film.
Well, Terrence Malick's on my list of films that
the
I'm
other one I was excited about.
To the Wonder, and Sally Potter's new film Ginger and Rosa.
I like how you say Rosa.
Rosa.
No, I love Sally Potter. I love the tango lesson.
That was Sally Potter?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She acts and she directed it. The only thing I'm kind of worried about, 9 times out of 10 Americans I've seen can't completely pull off a British accent.
Mm-hmm. Racist.
Very rarely.
Xenophobe.
Sure. But so
she admitted to it. We got it on record.
Christina Hendricks and Elle Fanning are in there. In the trailer, it seemed like they were doing okay, but for the whole movie, I'm just curious. But to see how they do. But
they're going to say very posh things.
Renee Zellweger ruined it for everyone.
Oh, I bet.
Other than that, I'm really excited about that movie.
Anything that has Annette Bening, I think, is worth seeing because I think she chooses projects really well.
She seems really butch in it.
She's butch in everything.
And Christina Hendricks, who I love on Mad Men, and she's probably one of the 3 most beautiful women on earth. And I just love her. I think she's kind of the hidden secret of Mad Men. I think that's sometimes the best thing about that show.
The women on that show sometimes are the best thing about that show.
Amazing. It's such and maybe that's the irony of that show is that it's focused on the men, but the women, the female characters are really the heart of the show.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that one. It looked
I'd
really
like to
intriguing.
hear about how excited you are about the new Terrence Malick movie.
I'm withholding judgment. As you know, I don't make opinions about movies until I've seen them. I would never. Which one was the new Terrence Malick?
It's the 5-hour walking through the wheat field. Do you remember the allergy commercial?
Oh yes, The New World 2.
That's his own.
Pocahontas washes her hands for 6.5 hours.
I think Terrence Malick is great, and the only movie of his that I really was like, I do not like this is that one. It's The New World. The rest of his I get into. You get in the groove, and I don't know. I adore them. Well, I don't always get them.
No, but I did think that the movie looked intriguing from the trailer, and it has some really great people. Javier Bardem is in it, and I really enjoy him, and I'm curious.
Who
to
wouldn't
see
enjoy
it.
Javier Bardem?
Yeah, well,
But you know who got cut out of that movie, of To the Wonder? Jessica Chastain.
And didn't you say Christian Bale too?
And Rachel Weisz.
Well, since she failed to get the Oscar, maybe we're reevaluating her star power.
No.
Maybe Anne Hathaway will.
She was
start
in The
getting
Tree of
roles,
Life. Anne Hathaway pops
and
up.
Jennifer Lawrence will start getting all of her roles.
Ugh.
They'll redo Zero Dark 30
with Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence.
With Lena Dunham.
As Osama bin Laden.
God, so versatile.
No, Zosha Mamet's going to play Osama bin Laden.
She should.
I just want to see her in more things. I think she's lovely.
She was in Mad Men.
She was. She's playing a lesbian. So against type. But the perkiest, cutest little lesbian you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. The Oblivion, which is the new film by Tom Cruise. Anybody excited about that one?
It looks interesting. It looks like a Netflixer. It looks like
but
something
it's
I
from the
might
director
see.
of Tron Legacy. I enjoy Tron Legacy.
Is that an endorsement?
You're gonna have a lot of problems with that movie because it's that and Earth 1.
After Earth.
After Earth, yeah. It's
if
a lot of
this
people
one
are
tanks,
complaining.
then the Will Smith one's
either.
gonna tank.
I wouldn't see either of them.
I would rather see Oblivion, but it is. Yeah. It looks like one of those movies. Like if I had it on Netflix and I had a Sunday afternoon to kill while I was getting over a head cold,
But there's something you can say about Tom Cruise that you can't say about Will Smith. Tom Cruise, if you look at his film, there's only one thing.
Just one thing.
There's one thing. Tom Cruise does have an interesting filmography. Like, if you look through his movies, he does have some good movies.
I don't enjoy him as a person. He's an example of someone, I can't stand him as a person, but his movies I actually find enjoyable. And the Mission Impossible movies, like especially the last one, Ghost Protocol, I really enjoyed that.
It's intense.
I love those big popcorn summer blockbuster things blowing up in exotic locations. I mean, and he brings a certain... There's a reason that he is one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood history.
Yeah, not anymore, but still.
He can
He
fill
might
the
still
seats
be.
and
He does commit. He commits to his roles.
He's charismatic.
yeah.
That's what I mean, like, you know, I don't know.
He has a certain charm to him, a charm that is lacking in Anne
personal
Hathaway,
Oh.
for instance.
I actually like all the Mission Impossibles with the exception of number 2.
I don't like 2 either. Yeah.
John Woo just crapped all over that one.
It was John Woo.
But Collateral, the
Yes.
Michael Mann movie,
It's the only Jamie Foxx movie.
No,
that
and
I
Minority
enjoy.
Report. I actually really like that one.
love
He
Minority
was in this
Report.
period where it was like Minority Report, War of the Worlds,
Rock of
Collateral.
Ages.
Collateral. He what'd you say?
Rock of Ages.
Taps? No, not recently.
Taps is a
Maybe in
good
the
movie.
early aughts or
It
whatever.
started in Magnolia. And once he did Magnolia, I think he really... Eyes Wide Shut, then Magnolia, and he did some consistently good work. And for just that little brief period of time when he was leaving Nicole Kidman, like Vanilla Sky, like I think he was really
yeah.
churning them out. How did we,
Well-
is this podcast about Tom Cruise? Sorry.
I forgot to tell you guys, we're now obsessed with Tom Cruise.
We're changing the Anne Hathaway drinking game to the Tom Cruise drinking game.
And apparently Jessica Chastain and Jennifer Lawrence.
They're gonna do the new Thelma and Louise, but they'll like cast Jessica Chastain as like her grandmother because she's 10, 15 years older than her.
She's the trucker, they blow up the truck. Or the Brad Pitt
She's so
character.
versatile.
It's like a lesbian Thelma Louise. With Zoe
Wasn't the
Saldana as
original-
Brad Pitt
Wasn't the
character.
original? Yeah. Oh, would you love it?
That would be awesome.
What if Brad Pitt was the rapist this time?
We were talking about this earlier, like movies, like classic movies that could be remade. Now we were talking about Whatever Happened to Baby Jane and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Or the hybrid that Rob mentioned, Who's Afraid of Baby Jane.
Rob thinks it was Elizabeth Taylor's Betty Davis.
That's how I remembered it.
I say I am not a purist. If it's awful, then that just proves how great the original is. If it's great, then that's good. That's a cool new rehash that we have.
You
But
mentioned
it's like-
Vanilla Sky. You know, I love...
and I love the original.
I love the original, and I love Vanilla
I
Sky.
think the remake's better. I see it's
But-
that's
but-
what I mean.
Brenda, you have to admit, you are a big purist. You're...
No, like if there are remakes where, like you said, if it's entertaining or if it like can add something or if
And I
it's
think it
good in
did.
general, or I don't know. It just a lot of times I have like specific beefs with specific remakes, and I don't know.
That's because you're a purist.
I guess I'll like up to that, but
But
still,
do you think it's like, because sometimes they do it almost exactly, and then sometimes they change everything, and so there's never a criteria of what makes a remake good.
Yeah, as long as it works, it
Yeah.
works. But a lot of times, like I think I've said in the past, like with foreign films, once they remake it in English, I guess for American audiences, they kind of water down some things that are like, you know, like let's say, you know, like that was my my worry with Old Boy because the
yeah.
endings kind of.
But you gotta trust... Sometimes you gotta trust the filmmakers, and I think in that case with...
But Brenda's right. I can't think of one besides Girl with a Dragon Tattoo that really
Worked?
worked. I think that was better than its source, but she stands alone on that one. But you're right. But like with the Evil Dead remake,
No.
I think it looks amazing.
Most films that are remade, I agree, are terrible. Dinner for Schmucks is a remake of The Dinner Game, which is that French film. The remake was horrible. Just it's a terrible movie, but there's some that worked. I thought Vanilla Sky worked as a remake.
I mean, I don't think Vanilla Sky was like horrible, but I mean, to me, it didn't compare to Abre los Ojos.
Abre los ojos. Abre los ojos.
I actually now I prefer Vanilla Sky because I felt that it did a much better job at separating the dream world from his reality.
It's just crazy to me. I don't know. I'm trying to think of one that really was awful. I just feel like try it, do like
Maybe we'll do an episode
On
on remakes.
well,
Alice
Gus
in
Van
Wonderland.
Sant. Ugh, terrible.
Oh, I was gonna mention that one. Gus Van
Terrible.
Sant, Psycho,
Psycho. Gus Van Sant did Psycho.
a
and
shot for shot remake.
Shot for shot, and I think it works. Like people wanted to get in hype about it back then, but you watch it now and it works.
Funny Games. Funny
I
games.
adore both versions.
Yep.
And because I
The
listen.
same director, and
And it's just shot for shot.
remake.
But it's different. Your actors are different. Tim Roth, you change the tone when you have Naomi Watts instead of the mom from the original one, who, not that I don't want to say dumpy, but Naomi Watts is attractive. It changes the tint of the movie.
Why did Haneke remake?
Because
his
he
own
wanted
film?
people to see it, and he was upset that people didn't see it in America.
I read somewhere that it's because he felt that the film was meant to be a representation on our obsession with violence and how the film didn't have any violence, but it was all implied
You never
violence.
see, and you want to.
But it's
and
violent.
sad
It's
that
a
you want
violent
to.
movie, but it's all off screen and you don't see it happening. But it's kind of leaves it up to your imagination. Would you have rather have seen all that violence?
Driving Miss Daisy had that same problem.
It was too.
All the violence was offset, was off screen, and I just craved
Jessica
more.
Tandy was abusing.
She,
What if they did like a My Week with Marilyn, My Week with Jessica, and it's from like Morgan Freeman's point of view,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and she's like bitching him out. She like smokes and drinks.
She's belligerently racist the entire time.
She's like, I'm in character.
She was great in the original Train Spotting, so
That was her.
Jessica Tandy?
Wait, was she the baby crawling on the wall?
she was.
Ah, I
She
knew it.
actually played all the roles.
Oh, did you read that he's making a sequel to that?
To
Danny
Train
Boyle?
Spotting. I love her.
Oh, wasn't it called Porno, the book? I think Porno, the book by Irving Welsh, because
Brenda's
Trainspotting,
always
yeah.
trying to bring porno up
I was
in
gonna
this
say,
podcast.
we
And
just
this
learned
time it
something
wasn't
about Brenda.
Jordan.
you're like, Trainspotting was a book? But yeah, Trainspotting was a book, and so
It's a pop-up book.
You didn't know that.
You open it and it just has drugs.
The
Needle
sequel to
pops
Trainspotting,
up.
I believe, was called Porno. So I would assume the sequel to Trainspotting,
movie.
the film, would be Porno.
I thought all the characters would be dead. They were heroin addicts.
Nope.
Oh, that's crazy.
Getting back to spring.
Yeah, God,
releases.
stop trying to. Everybody get us.
That's enough about movies of the early 90s.
I think one of the ones that we brought up, obviously the clip at the beginning, and Rob and I, it's like one of the films that we're most excited about is Wrong.
I'm happy that Jack Plotnick is still getting work.
I didn't know that was him when I first saw the trailer. I was like, that guy's pretty attractive.
I mean,
where's he been? I saw him on
Drawn
the
to-
Chex Mix commercial.
Drawn Together has been off the air for how long now?
I know.
That's the work you reference for him. It's Drawn Together.
And
He's
girl-
a voice actor.
What was the last feature film? Straight Jacket.
Girls Will
No,
Be
he did
Girls.
Straight
Girls Will
Jacket.
Be Girls is brilliant.
But it was he did Girls Will Be Girls. But how long has that been?
No, he was
it's
on
just
some sketch
2003,
comedy
right?
show.
I don't remember.
Oh, he's.
Oh, you know
hilarious.
what? I have his IMDb
He's
up.
the celebrity spokesperson for Chex Mix.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
he does that boring chip bag commercial.
Oh, he was in Meet the Fockers, Gods and Monsters,
But-
Down with Love.
The person who did Wrong did Rubber.
Yes.
Okay. Has everyone seen that?
No.
Yes, I have.
Is it good?
It's an acquired taste.
Okay.
It wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I enjoyed it.
Does the tire actually? No, it just looks at people.
It, like, from what I gather, it's kind of almost like a psychic way. It just kind of looks at people, and you see, like, these waves going out.
Oh my god.
It is, like I said, it's peculiar, but I like it. It was
Jordan just gave me the most
Trust me,
confused
you would
look.
not see the
I'm
trailer and be
like,
like,
the
I want to
fuck
see
did I
this.
just hear? Like, what?
It's
Rubber is about a killer tire.
You heard it right.
That's it. I'm shutting everything down.
This is where we've ended up.
I heard about it, yeah, when it came out.
Who plays the tire?
Jessica
Chastain.
Tandy. I think Jessica Tandy.
George Hamilton's skin.
This is going to ruin our corporate sponsorship from Firestone.
That's such an old reference. Like, nobody knows who that is anymore. The Snooki's skin.
Right now, some
Snooki's leftover snake skin. It's a tour de force.
I'm glad how you're trying to make it topical, but she's not topical anymore.
Who's topical? I don't even know what that is. A snacky. George Hamilton. I don't. That's how old I am. From George Hamilton to Snooki. Like, well, I'm stuck in 2005. When was she born? 94?
If we don't pay attention to him, he'll stop talking eventually.
No, it won't.
What was I going to say? Did everybody watch the trailer for Upside Down?
Yes.
That looks exciting. It reminded me a lot of Cloud Atlas. Just like the look and everything of it.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of that short during the animated shorts of the husband and wife that live in
Oh,
two
yeah.
different gravities.
Which I loved. That was one of my favorite
Yeah,
of the
same here.
animated
I
shorts.
wanted that one to win.
Curtis, what did Roger Ebert think about that?
He said, this is one of the craziest films to come along in a while, and I can confidently say that anyone who sees it will either hail it as some kind of crackpot masterpiece or dismiss it as one of the silliest damn things you've ever seen. But he said it was one of the best, one of the most original movies in light years. Which I think is, I love Roger Ebert. I think his reviews have a lot of thought, but I don't know. Kirsten Dunst doing some good work finally.
What's it called? Yeah, I was
She
gonna
did
say,
makeup
is this
for
the first thing she's done
Melancholia.
since Melancholia?
No, she did.
She was in Bachelorette.
She did
Oh,
Bachelorette.
yeah.
Yeah. She was.
Dan's interrupting us.
Dan's interrupting us. We have a lot of.
Water.
Dan's drinking
water.
water. Dan's making water.
Because Dan's the reason we get off topic and get distracted.
Are we off topic?
Why else would you want to have a
I don't
producer
even know
around?
what this podcast is about.
It's about Kirsten Dunst.
I thought it was about porn and Jessica Tandy.
I would love
all
to
of
see your
those
browser
things are
history.
true. Wait, when you tell
His
me
browser history is just the most random things.
what's your podcast about? Porn, Jessica
Jessica
Tandy,
Which-
Snooki,
True statement.
We're putting that on T-shirts.
everything you've ever wanted in life.
All right, if you can name 2 movies of the list that you're looking forward to the most, what would yours be, Brenda?
I would have to say Wrong, of course, and then also Mental. It's from Australia. It's with Tony Collette and Anthony LaPaglia get to be Australian again.
It's from the director of Muriel's Wedding.
I know, another thing. I love Muriel's Wedding. Like, it looked a lot of fun. I'm excited about that one.
Curtis.
I want to see To the Wonder, obviously, and
You-
Spring.
I might not see that with you.
No, I don't. It's not like you can't explain those movies to anyone. You just have to sit and enjoy it. It's like how some people watch footage of other countries' castles on their TV.
He's pointing
Summer
at you.
homes. Summer homes.
It's
Those were my summer
Terrence
home
Malick directed
choices.
that.
That was
you were
actually
watching.
Terrence Malick.
That was To the Wonder.
That was the New World 2. The Newer World.
And Spring Breakers. I really look forward
Oh,
to
that's
seeing
right.
Spring
Spring
Breakers.
Breakers
Yeah.
tomorrow.
About
Yeah,
that.
tomorrow. Yeah, maybe I'll go see it tomorrow. I hate Harmony Korine. I've hated every single movie he's ever done, but
Yeah,
I
me
do want to
too.
see this one. Yeah.
I'm excited for It's a Disaster, which I know we really didn't talk about, but just watch the trailer. It's a lot of fun. It has... you didn't think... I liked it.
It looks like fun. It's just like,
It looks like a pilot for an ABC show. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm sold. Kontiki is that English language shows, but Wrong is definitely one of the ones that... It's just such a strange trailer.
oh, that movie's not in a foreign language.
Wrong? No.
Kontiki.
Kontiki? No. It looks like from the trailer, it looks like they're speaking English. the
Yeah, but that
entire
was
time.
nominated this past year for best...
For foreign language
Yeah.
film. See, that's so weird.
Maybe they
dubbed it.
they have to speak a certain amount
I
of
don't know.
Norwegian in order for it to be considered.
Sorry, Jordan.
I'm going to have to look up the rules. for that.
I'm Wikipediaing it right now. You talk.
What am I talking about?
What spring movies are you excited to see?
Well, no, G.I. Joe Retaliation, obviously.
You know, it's opening a whole day earlier next week.
That was because of me. I emailed and I said, you know what, this really is not working for
I know
me.
your strongly worded letters get around.
Dear Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
If you think that I don't write him on a regular basis, you are very mistaken.
This is why he never makes visits to Houston. I have this stalker named Jordan Dave. Boop. Can't say that.
We'll dub over it in Swedish.
You know, you just cost me about 15 to 20 minutes worth of work.
That's okay. It's not like anything else to do.
I'm
So,
kidding.
I'm just kidding. No, Wrong, Upside Down. Those are 2 that I was really looking forward to. The trailer for Spring Breakers really disturbed me, I think, because there's so many Disney Channel people in it, which really makes me concerned about what's going on at Disney Studios, that this is what they do after their contracts expire. But those are 2 that I'm really looking forward to.
Spring Break.
I'd have to say 242, which is the Jackie Robinson film that's coming out. I'm hoping the movie is better because I'm a history movie buff. It's a movie that I'm really excited about seeing. I just hope that the trailer is worse.
Sometimes
than
the
film.
trailers, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about here, but I don't think any of us really picked up on it. It's the art of a trailer. You know, sometimes when trailers are cut, they either give too much away or it's misleading. But that 42, I have hope for it. I feel that it might be a good movie.
It could be the sleeper hit.
Yeah, if I had a third pick, it would definitely be the Evil Dead remake.
Evil Dead, yeah.
We haven't talked about the Place Beyond the Pines, the new Derek.
Such a good trailer. Such a good trailer. I told Rob we saw the trailer today, and I said I'm just worried because Blue Valentine was so emotionally gripping and draining. I wonder what he's going to do with something that's a little more action. Or maybe it's not action. I don't know, but
It's selling it as an action.
yeah, which might be just a misstep. But and they forget to mention that Rose Byrne's in the movie. I think that's rude. But they put Eva Mendes up there.
You're just looking out for these ladies,
I
huh?
love Rose Byrne.
No, I'm pretty sure they're capitalizing on the fact that Eva Mendes and Ryan
Gosling are together.
Are dating.
I
Yeah.
know.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yes, Rob. You've been putting it to her since they made that movie.
I didn't know that.
Ryan Gosling said he's going to take some time off from movies because he's been doing it so long. He's my age. No, he's older than me. He's 32.
Barely.
Bear cub.
Did you find out the rules?
Yeah, it just says it has to be a feature-length film produced outside of the United States with a predominantly non-English dialogue track. So that's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty open, right?
Does that satisfy you, Jordan?
Jordan, do you feel okay
I'm
with
rarely
that?
satisfied.
It has to play for 7 days in the theater.
I'm aware of that, hence the way you start off a podcast.
I don't even remember that far back. What did I say? Was I good? Was I charming?
Do you know what
Hilarious
this
as usual?
Do you know what this podcast is about?
This is about films set and made in Texas.
What? To the wonder?
Well, our next
RoboCop
podcast
2.
is going to cover...
Sorry.
That's a good one.
This is why I wasn't allowed to sit next to other kids in church.
They let you in?
No, I had to sit in the choir loft.
What's our next podcast going to cover?
Foreign films.
Woo!
I'm excited. Brenda, do you have any homework for us? Any foreign films we should watch?
You're out of town.
I can watch. Oh, I'm not even going to be on the podcast, but I can still watch a foreign
Actually, I can make that Skype if you want to stay up late.
film. It's going to be 5 o'clock in the morning.
I don't care.
When?
No, we're not going to try Skyping.
You can
no,
get a
it'd be
baguette at
hilarious.
5 a.m.
Oh,
Get it the night before.
isn't that funny? It would be like, it's 7-hour difference. It would be 5
Very appropriately. What's your name?
I'm Curtis.
Curtis. Sorry, I just drew a
We met
blank.
before.
Curtis will be in a foreign land when we're doing that.
The foreign films. I know, I'm sad.
Oh.
You guys, I just record. I'll just say
She doesn't
thanks.
like you, apparently.
I was about to say Derek. I don't know why.
There was enough-
I can only keep so much in my brain at
So
one
many-
given time.
Oh my goodness.
We're all
like,
the same name.
It's like an Amore moment. You should slap her.
I have a pillow.
No, I'm excited. And Brenda loves foreign films, so it's going to be a good.
Well, Brenda's going to be moderating next week. So.
Yeah, I don't have any homework for you guys as of now, but
I like when Brenda's in charge.
Look.
Oh, somebody else is in charge?
you might change your mind next podcast.
That's okay. You can't remember my name, so it's not like you can
I'm not
yell
even
at
going to be.
me.
I'm not showing up next week. So is Brenda like the Whoopi Goldberg of this show or the Rosie O'Donnell?
Whoopi Goldberg.
So who's Rob the Joy Behar?
Oh,
Am I the
maybe.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck?
Yes.
Which means I just got fired from...
She did it.
Well, her contract wasn't renewed, which is
What?
TV
Really?
parlance for being fired.
No, I love
Her and Joy Behar, but Joy is leaving amicably.
Joy needs to go.
Bye.
Bye. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares? Who cares? Yeah, so that's going to be exciting.
So I guess Dan's Barbara Walters.
Oh my God.
It wouldn't be the first time he's been compared to Barbara Walters.
Yes.
Wait, what's going on?
But only because he had an affair with a black senator in the 60s.
You did?
I don't see color.
But you feel it. And for more information on that, you can go to our website.
Oh, Lord. So next week's episode is definitely going to be about foreign films, and we'll probably cover porn and see if you can find a foreign film that has graphic sex scenes.
You can.
And Jessica Tandy.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Let's make it happen.
You lost me at Jessica Tandy because when you said foreign,
You can get some good for him, yeah.
with good sex scenes. Yeah,
Jessica,
Jessica
Tandy. We got to
Tandy.
make this guy happy one day on this podcast.
I don't think anyone... Jessica Tandy was playing a grandmother in the 60s, so I don't know that it's going to happen.
Maybe she was Catherine Deneuve's grandmother in the movie.
Catherine Deneuve, yeah. Now she's still playing my daughter. I love her.
Well, I think we're going to close out with Catherine Deneuve playing Curtis's daughter.
I mean, I'm playing Catherine Deneuve.
In the remake of
Belle de Jour.
Belle de Jour.
Spank me.
This is Movies the Podcast, and I'm Rom.
And I'm Jordan.
I'm Brenda.
I guess I'm Curtis.
And Barbara Walters.
Blah,
Hi, this is Dan.
Dan, we actually just finished.
Oh, bye, this is
We didn't
Dan.
just
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and look forward to our next one.
Bye.
I only realized I loved my face after it had been burned with acid. Before, it was just my face. I only started laughing at it again when it had partially disappeared. Do you follow?
Not really.
only
I don't want
country
you to
that
sound
teaches it
American.
with an American accent.
The whole movie, I kept thinking, I'm like, she is Swedish, and her accent is terrible.
And that was a clip from the movie Wrong, starring Jack Plotnick and William Fichtner. This week, we're going to be covering spring releases. This is Movies a Podcast, and I'm Rob.
I'm Curtis.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Brenda.
I'm Dan.
And that's Dan.
That's
Always
Dan.
last, but never first. Hi, guys. How's everybody today?
Good, how are you?
Oh, a little sniffly, so you might hear. I'm not crying. Just have allergies that are kicking my butt.
Spring is sprung.
Well, it's appropriate for our topic today. We're going to be talking about spring releases, but before then, let's do some catch up.
What have we been doing?
Last movie I saw was Oz the Great and Powerful.
I mean, best picture of the year, right?
I liked it.
I don't know. I liked
you?
it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was. I'd call it the best
No,
picture
I'm
He
of
is
the
joking.
year.
facetious.
Oh, okay. You didn't like it at all?
It was fun for what it was.
It was fun. Yeah, it was. I don't think it was supposed to be like a
Don't
brain
look-
food.
Don't look at
No.
my snot,
It's the
Jordan.
Les Mis of 2013. And Mila Kunis is the Anne Hathaway of 2013.
You do want to hate her in that movie. I mean, not just because she
I-
plays who she plays.
I'm
but-
just so tired of the same.
Not a total misfire.
But it was. I don't know. I would.
Ang Lee, Incredible Hulk. I'm just gonna throw that out there for
That
the
wasn't his first.
No,
No,
Sense and Sensibility was his first.
Oh,
Yeah, I just
he
got beat on
crushed
that
it.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Oh,
so go see it. I still think Nicole Kidman is quickly becoming the best actor for
small parts.
a small, interesting movie.
Yeah.
Like you can never. Meryl Streep would not do that part. I mean, you know what I mean? An aging Southern belle, like she just did it perfectly.
Do you think this is maybe Oscar buzz already for this
No,
role? Or
no. I wish for Matthew Good was. I like him. He's never been this good.
He's the only character in the film. Well, I guess Nicole Kidman also showed her vulnerability, but his character, whenever you realize how it all tied together, when he showed that in that scene in the car, I thought that's where it brought me back in.
Yeah.
It sold me that this character is someone that I sympathize with, even though you might not want to sympathize.
I was
with.
just gonna say that. I said I think you want the sentimentality, and there was none until one scene, and that was it.
You know me, I like my
I
sentiment.
know it was not sentimental.
Today I also watched Lynn Ramsey's We Need to Talk About Kevin with Tilda Swinton and John C. Reilly. Even though I knew the ending to that movie, I was still floored by how it laid itself out and it connected past, present, and what was going on with these characters. Yeah, I can't recommend that movie enough. I feel like I have snot coming down my nose right now.
I really like that director, Lynn Ramsey.
That's about it. About 30 minutes into the movie, I kind of wanted to walk out because I was just so frustrated that none of the characters were likable, relatable. They all just seemed just generic. Not generic, just they didn't seem
Authentic.
None of them had any emotions. They were very.
It's the Carrie Diaries, the film version.
Well, I told Rob, and this is what I love about these movies. Maybe it's just Nicole Kidman. That movie is like walking a high wire tightrope. Like they could have gone over the top, and it would have been too much, or they could have been like real dour. But I think they walked that tightrope to where you're not quite sure what's going on, and you don't even really know what's going on really with any of the characters for like the last 20 minutes.
No,
Nothing
that's
is
true.
So
exciting.
it's just like very subtle the whole way out.
It is subtle, but it also opens a lot of boxes and doesn't tell you what's in them.
Subtle?
Literally
I
and figuratively.
I wouldn't call that movie subtle at all.
No, I don't mean subtle. I mean like the plot didn't lay it out for you and go, here's how this plot's gonna go.
Yeah, it'll be hard for you to watch that movie and understand where this plot's going. Like you can't. You
can't predict it.
You can't predict it.
I see. I don't mind that. Like sometimes, like when movies change it up. Granted, I haven't seen this, so I can't really form an opinion. But I think sometimes the movies can pander a little bit to audiences. So from what it sounds like, I don't think it would bother me.
No, you'd like it. Yeah, it's just strange enough to be weird, but not as. I guess.
I'm excited to see more from this director, and sometimes with foreign language film directors make their crossover to the U.S., it's not always successful.
My Blueberry Nights.
That's Wong Kar-wai, the director of Amelie, City of Lost Children, did Aliens 4.
It's 2013, and for 60 years, Disney's been dragging out the same tired, ridiculous trope that pretty women are not valid unless pretty men like them. It's just the same weak women, strong men, crazy, vague minorities. It's the same things that we saw in 1943, and we're seeing it still. It's studios.
Oh yeah, we're postmodern feminists now. Like,
Well, it's never.
I'm a postmodern feminist.
we can say that women want a man. Yeah, want a man that's pretty. Huh?
It's never a real podcast until Jordan has a complaint. So it's a seal of approval on this one.
On my rival podcast, Films the Podcast, I'm going to discuss
Películas.
It's simulcast in Espanol.
I did like it. I'm not gonna hate on it. You start watching Oz and you're like, it's not like the original, and this is different, and this is different. But then I don't know. You settle into the movie, you realize, the special effects are kind of cheesy, but so was in 1939. The special effects were probably cheesy back then too. And I thought the actresses were well cast. And
Well, I'm sure in 1939 people were freaking out thinking monkeys could really fly.
yeah, and then that was like,
Wait,
those are the biggest special-
monkeys can't fly?
on the Orbitz commercials. They can.
I mean, Curtis will be in the plane next week.
But I did. I liked it. I liked it. It was good.
I was scared of the fact that something shouldn't be remade, like this, like maybe something.
But it's not a remake.
Not a remake, but it's kind of that.
It's not even a prequel.
It's technically we're supposed to be.
Like a prequel of a prequel. But
It was
I think remake everything. I don't care.
No, I see what you're saying. It's
Yeah, I'm not a
it'd be
purist.
Nice, once in a while to see something original, just on that scale.
But we do see original things on
I know,
that
I know,
scale.
but
We
just-
really don't. Like, only Christopher Nolan's original movies, which is really just what? Inception?
Uh-huh.
What's the other
No,
big budget
The,
one?
the Prestige.
Memento.
Prestige.
But that's not a big budget.
Oh, okay.
But those two are the only really, like, original big budget movies. Original. With a $100 million budget.
I thought Live Free and Die Hard was pretty good for an original, but for a small art house film, it really had a lot of
That
heart.
Bruce Willis was in that Moonrise Kingdom.
He was awesome.
I did like Moonrise Kingdom. Rob and I, this is Curtis again. Rob and I just saw Stoker today. The new, what's his name?
Park Chan-wook.
Park Chan-wook with Matthew Good, Mia Wasikowska, and Nicole Kidman. And I adored
Written
it.
by Wentworth Miller.
He said, I was just reading an interview with him, he said the script has changed so much since he gave it to them. It's not that he's saying he didn't write it, but the script has...
Does he
morphed.
still get a writing credit?
Yeah,
for
he
it?
still gets
He
it.
gets the soul.
Well, he gets a sole writing credit and a producer's credit on the feature.
Oh,
Stoker is the first English language film from director Park Chan-wook,
Park Wook-chen? I don't know.
Wait,
Park
Park
Chan-wook.
Chan-wook, sorry. And his most famous film is Old Boy. He did the Lady Vengeance.
The Vengeance trilogy.
The Vengeance
The
trilogy.
first one was Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance.
And I really enjoyed Thirst, the vampire one. That was epic. And how it was just, it felt like very inappropriate almost the entire way through.
But how did you feel about Stoker?
I'm still on the fence.